Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Creator in Conversation. I am your host, Owen Macaulay, and today is a bonus episode recorded live at Dublin Comic Con back in March of 2023. I'm delighted to represent this interview with Susan Eisenberg. Many of you will know Susan from her portrayal of Wonder Woman in Justice League Unlimited, and Susan was a great conversation, and this is recorded back when I was program director for Pulse College and the BA in Animation program. And we were just coming out of COVID, the lockdowns, and we had begun introducing this concept of when Dublin Comic Con returned, we had a room which became the TASQ art room, and we do various panels and workshops. But travel was limited amongst some of the guests coming in and out, and it was a bit of a juggling game. So I introduced this concept of interviewing people live via Zoom. So essentially what you would have is myself in the room talking on the computer to a guest anywhere in the world, in this case Susan over in America, on Zoom, and then we invite attendees in the audience to come up and to ask questions. So it was basically a standard Q&A, but unfortunately on this occasion we couldn't have Susan physically present. But the good news is, a couple of years later Susan came. It was just in March of last year she was a guest as well, so she made it over and it was a great show as well. So my thanks to Dublin Comic Con, my thanks to Susan for permission to reshare this interview. And those of you who have been listening may realise that our last episode with John Jackson Miller was the end of season 1, and that still remains. But today what we have is a bonus episode, and you probably get a couple of more of these bonus episodes from past interviews. And the reason for this is because A, it's great to keep the rhythm going, and B, I really want to try and store all my conversations in one repository, in this case the Creator in Conversation podcast. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode with Susan Eisenberg. Okay, so thank you so much, Susan, for joining us here today at Dublin Comic Con in March 2023 edition. Really appreciate you taking the time out, and so early in the morning as well for you. So there's a time difference. Really appreciate you coming in on Saturday, no less.
I wouldn't do it for just anybody. It's Dublin Comic Con I'm doing
it for. It's the look of the Irish, you know, that's it.
100%. And it's not that early here. It's nine in the morning. So it's not like.
Oh, that's early for us, believe me. But that's enough of the stereotypes here. I already have a paddy cap on. We can't have any more. Someone hand me a Guinness and we've gone the full hog.
I think it's hysterical. Well, first of all, I love the hat. I think the cap looks amazing on you. Just FYI.
Thank you. This is a new edition, and I was talking to the main organisers. They don't know whether it was going to make or break for me. I'm keeping it. We have one more in the audience, so yeah, this is it. We're all living up to the St. Patrick's Day.
Why not?
Of course, if we don't do it, it's like you go to Scotland, you expect them to wear kilts. You go to Ireland, you're going to expect a paddy cap.
Absolutely. And some Guinness.
Plenty of Guinness. Well, literally, we're just down the river from the Guinness factory. If I hang my head out the window, we can see. That's how typically Irish we are right now.
Love it. I love it.
But listen, so thank you so much again, and hopefully we'll see you over here in a future show as well. So that's the plan, the hope, because I think some of your fellow Justice Leaguers had already arrived here as well. So we have a long-standing tradition. So thanks again. And just to kick things off, first of all, I'm a huge Justice League and Justice League Unlimited fan myself. The series was phenomenal, and I know you worked with the great Andrea Romano as well. And what was that experience like, just to begin with? Because like anytime I'm watching any of the DVD extras and any of the DCAU material, and we also had a fellow Irishman, Jason O'Mara, who did some of the newer animated material for the DCAU films. He worked with Andrea as well, and I was just curious, like your experience, like working with Andrea. Is she semi-retired now, or is she still active?
Yeah, no, she's mostly retired now. I mean, talk about a woman who deserves a rest. Pretty much everything you watch on television was directed by her and cast by her. So it's not only that she directed the performances, is that it's also that she found the performers. These casts, these magical casts, she she created those along with Bruce Timm or whomever she's working with. But it was extraordinary. It's like starting at the top, it's having the best of the best in the very beginning of your career. And then hopefully you try to recreate that over and over and over again. But that was magical, having her as my voice director and discovering Diana with her, because she helped me. Same with Bruce. I had a picture. Bruce gave me a picture of Diana, so I knew what she was going to look like. And then Andrea really helped me find the voice of Diana, because she said very early on, the two things you have to remember always are you have to always bring the princess quality to her, and you always have to bring the warrior quality to her. And those two things have to coexist all the time. So if you lose one, it doesn't work. You can't lose either one. And she would always remind me, I wouldn't lose the princess all that often, but once in a while I lost the warrior. And she'd be like, toughen it up. So yeah, it was just glorious having her as, my mentor. She held my hand the whole way through the series.
Oh, that's nice.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, it really is. Like anytime, like even The Simpsons in the credits, you'll see Andrea will pop up as well. Like everything I've ever watched growing up on TV is like Andrea. I'm like, she's a genius. She really
is a genius. She is a genius. I mean, that word's thrown around quite a bit, but she truly is. And she's also, she was an actor, so she knows how to talk to actors. She knows what the process is like, the fear sometimes, the insecurities. I can't say enough good things about her. She's phenomenal.
And of course, back to you as well with your performance with Wonder Woman. Just before we can get into that, with regards to the character, did you have much in the way, like were you a fan growing up, or did you come to the character later after performing? What was your connection with Wonder Woman before pre-Justice League?
Well, I think I always thought she was fabulous, because, I grew up with Linda Carter, and she was fabulous. But I wasn't entrenched in that world. I have 3 older sisters, so I was watching American soap operas, so that was my world. And so once I got the job, I made it my mission to, take a deep dive into the universe and try to I'm still figuring it out. I gotta be honest, I'm still figuring it out. The canon, the not canon. I mean, it's confusing to somebody on the outside.
Yep.
But I've had a lot of people say, take my hand. I'm going to tell you what to read. I'm going to show you what to do. So I've tried to educate myself, but no, that wasn't daunting, because it wasn't like I was, I'd grown up with Linda's picture on my wall or anything like that. And it wasn't as if Bruce said to me, we wanted you to do Linda Carter. It was like a whole new thing that we could all discover together. So that part wasn't intimidating.
And have you ever had, the opportunity, or would you, have an idea to contribute to the character beyond acting or voice acting, like in terms of writing? Because I know they just announced Tom King as the new author for Wonder Woman ongoing. Has DC, I know J.M. DeMatteis as well, has done a great Justice League animated comic series. Would you have any interest in perhaps, like, is there a Wonder Woman story in you, perhaps like a script or anything that you would like to explore?
Wait, is that someone knocking at my door? It's opportunity. Hold on. No one's approached me yet. I don't think people see me as that. If I'll be honest. I mean, I just keep hoping they see me as Wonder Woman over there at DC and Warner Brothers. That I'd be blown away if I got to write something or contribute in any way. But for now, I think I'm going to let the experts handle the writing, like Tom. I mean, Tom and I were, tweeting back and forth to each other once he announced it. He calls me Wonder Nerd. I'm a huge fan of his. I mean, he's the best. So I'll just be like all the other fans and waiting to see what he creates. But I'll be excited to see what he creates, because he's just so talented.
Awesome. And the opportunity then, when it was that you were cast as Wonder Woman, how did that go about? Like, what was did you know you were auditioning for Wonder Woman when you went in
Yes.
for the role? Okay, so was that intimidating down? You're like, okay, this is Wonder Woman. Like, because I suppose then you're left wondering how to approach that. Did you ever consider like going full on Shakespeare, in Shakespeare in the Park with the approach?
You know, I think that I don't even remember if the first audition we were told it was Wonder Woman, but we had callbacks at Warner Brothers. So we had to get into our cars and drive to our callbacks and meet Bruce Timm and meet Andrea Romano. And that was scary. And I remember my agent, I remember so vividly, he was calling me and he said, okay, it's for Wonder Woman, and just go and get it, Susan. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. You sit back and have a cup of coffee, and I'll just go get it. Um, I I remember the audition very vividly. I don't think I went full Shakespeare, although that would have been lovely. And I just think I tried to bring a certain elegance, I think,
Mhm.
to the character because of the fact that she was a princess. And then I tried my best to sound like an Amazonian princess warrior. So I just tried to bring both those things. And they gave me a few notes, they directed me a little bit, and I did it again. And then I drove home and just thought, okay, I did what I wanted to do. Most times actors don't have that experience. You're driving home thinking, oh shoot, I should have done this or I should have done that. You're kicking yourself. I didn't feel that when I drove away. I felt like I gave it my best and let the best woman win. That's what I figured.
Oh, amazing. And throughout the series, then, I suppose this is probably a typical question you've gotten maybe 1,000,001 times, but I'm going to ask it 1,000,002. But were there any particular arcs or episodes or stories that kind of stood out to you in the series that really, that's rates among your favorite? I know that's always a tricky question to ask any, artist performer, like what's your favorite and stuff. It's like up to a parent, what's your favorite?
Child.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, there are a bunch that I always talk about because for whatever reason they stand out to me. They have a special place in my heart. Maid of Honor was just a lovely thing to play because I played a mentor, like an older, more experienced woman, as opposed to when I first came on the show, and it was literally Paradise Lost, lost. But I loved this little piggy,
Oh, yeah.
uh, because that, even though that doesn't feature me so much, it features an aspect of the character that I loved, which was she got to be like a little devil and flirty with Batman, with Kevin the great Kevin Conroy, and so that was another aspect. Anytime I could play something a little bit different to her and something that made her um, just pushed her out of the boundary a little bit. I loved doing that. And that one I got to do. The Once and Future Thing, written by Dwayne McDuffie, that I got to have a little bit more humor, which I loved. Like I said, anytime I got to be flirty, humorous, angry, well, I got to do that a lot. But, it was just fun to do another aspect of her. So this little piggy, especially the singing part, which obviously I'm not in, but Kevin, we had a running gag where whenever we were at cons together, he would always break into song, am I blue? And I'd pretend to be, just horrified by the display, but secretly loving every second of it. And it was just sweet. It was just dear. So, um, that those are the three that jump out. But if you gave me 2 more minutes, I'd have about five more because, look at that writing team. Like you mentioned,
Yeah.
JM, Dwayne McDuffie, Rich Fogel, they were writers and directors were the creme de la creme. So, we got to Paul Dini, who wrote
Yep.
who wrote this little piggy. I mean, you got to say these words of these magicians. So there's an endless, group of episodes I loved, but those are the ones that jump out in my head.
And it's really like for many you all the definitive Wonder Woman as well. That Wonder Woman is definitive, like, and I can see like nods of agreements as well from the group here onto that, because it's like for me, like the Linda Carter, like of course is always going to be like to me Wonder Woman, but that wasn't the Wonder Woman I grew up with as well, And then when you even look at it in terms of the more modern films and such, like the body of work you leave in the character is the most extensive when you look at it, and the story arcs, and even you mentioned the relationship between Wonder Woman and Batman was probably the most defined within that series, and that inspired, they kind of alluded to more within the live action material later on then, but you can see the genesis of it. And
yeah, you even see some fans made screenshots from the film and from the animated series. I mean, the fan art is just stunning and fabulous. And yeah, I think that it was just alluded to, though. It never,
yep.
never, and that's what I loved about it. It wasn't this deep arc of romance. It was the occasional flirtation, the sweetness, the I know you, you know me, trying to, penetrate that tough facade that Batman had, having his number a little bit, and he knew it. I loved playing every second of it. And there wasn't much, but it was just delightful playing that. And, like, whereas with Shaira and Green Lantern, that was a real love story. Like that had every beat in that love story, in that arc. Ours, wasn't fully developed. Maybe if the adventure had continued, maybe it would have been. But
there was some back, I'd say it must be about maybe nearly 10 years or so, they did attempt comic book spin-offs, and they had a fun one with the Batman Beyond series where the Justice Lords, and I think Diana ends up with the Justice Lord Batman. I think that's how they kind of tied up. Again, as you said, with how canon works, I need a map here and try and figure it out. But it was fun that, the show was like, a good art never talks down to an audience. It's there, it's good story, and everyone can come to it then and go, oh yeah, this, and they like, and then future generations can come in and add something like a tie-in novel or a comic book, and that's all because of the work you guys laid down in the original source material. And of course, sincere condolences as well with the passing of Kevin as well. The whole chemistry of the whole Justice League were like as an ensemble, you guys were magnificent. And at conventions, I saw you at the reunion in New York, and you were just amazing on stage. And Kevin was a real friend to the show as well. He actually, helped this show expand, and he took a chance coming over here about 8 years ago now, or 9 years ago on the 10th anniversary. So, again, of course, condolences, and it was the team, and hopefully, with the likes of Phil Lamar, Carl Lumley, and Mike Rosenberg, many others, that you get the chance as well to come back as well. We hope we get to see more from the team, even if it's at conventions and such as well, because the fan base always turn out when you guys do. I know John Suttress from Ward Balloon. I think John as well.
Oh yes, of course I do.
He's fantastic for arranging the live reads at conventions. I love how he just like he's probably like the coolest nerd I know. He's like with that radio background, but then his wealth of knowledge with it, and he's been such a great spokesman. And I always look forward to when if you're at a convention, he's recording off you on the podcast. Those conversations have always been amazing as well.
Thank you so much for saying all of that, for the condolences, for all of that. It's very sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I think we got exceedingly lucky with our group. We see each other. We all got together after Kevin passed and toasted him, and it was, so sweet. And I think that's Andrea putting all of us together in a room. And when you talked about the legacy of the show, and I think that's the writers, and I'd love to take credit for it, but I think that the writers were fans of the genre, themselves. They appreciated the genre and they respect the genre. And so they, like you say, there was never a condescension with the fans. It was always respect. And I think the fans, that's why they're still there. That's why they're still, watching the show. And when I meet people at cons, it's a father-daughter, it's a mom and a son, and I'm meeting generations because, like you said, for some of the fan base, their exposure, their introduction to these DC characters was through Justice League and Unlimited. So, that's a beautiful thing to carry through, to carry with us all. We've all carried that with us, that we were part of somebody's childhood. That's how lucky we are.
Amazing. Okay, I just want to throw now. Does anyone have any questions? I want to do Q&A. Okay, cool. Yeah. So if anyone has any questions, what I'll say is if you want to come up, anyone has any questions, just come up a little bit closer then as well. I would just before we began recording, I was saying about my friend Anto trying to battle.
Yeah. Did he get up there?
He managed to get up, but he's gone shy now. We see Anto, no hiding there.
I can't see him, so he doesn't have to be shy.
You see, she can't see, the camera doesn't point that way. He'll kill me later, he will. But we have this gentleman. Do you want to come around here and ask anything? Yeah, go ahead. I'm just going to hand over. Go ahead.
Oh,
hi, Susan, how are you?
Hey,
nice
I'm
to
well.
meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I just have a very quick question. I would like to know, how was this transition between series, TV to Injustice game?
It's a great question. It was a challenge. I wasn't used to playing Wonder Woman. Well, games are very different than animation anyway. So you have that. When we did Justice League, we were all together in a room. It was a huge room, and we would do rehearsals all together, and all the guest stars would be there. So it was, once you got over the shock of that you were sitting next to Mark Hamill or, Alfred Molina, it was just, you relaxed a little bit. With video games, you're by yourself. You're not with a cast. So, and also she was such a different character than I was used to playing, because I was used to playing nice, kind Diana, compassionate Diana, and then Injustice, not as much. So it was definitely a transition. I made them promise me that at some point in my career, they would give me a nice Diana that I got to play, the Injustice people. But anytime you get to work, first of all, is a good thing. And anytime I get to voice her in any project, I just see it as a gift. So there was some, I had to make some adjustments, put it that way. But, it's all good. As far as I'm concerned, as an actor, it's all good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Cheers. And do we have any other questions on the floor? Yeah, come on. Yeah, just come around here. Just this way here. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Susan.
Hi. Hello.
Another pretty hat.
Oh, very handsome. Very handsome.
Uniform. Let's say I have first an observation and then a question.
Sure.
Colleague before me, we are actually working on the game together, developing, and since we strongly believe in power equality, we said we want a female character. All right, so there will be a male and a female, but we don't know much how we should animate, let's say, girls and women fighting. So Injustice League game was actually, and still is, quite a lot of references that we are looking at. We will not brutally copy it, but it's definitely an inspiration to see how to move in the right way. But my question actually is more with the voice acting. You said that you had some guidelines how the voice should be, princess and a warrior coming together at the same time. When you were going for the audition, did you have several voices in your arsenal of weapons, let's say, that you will use, or you just went with one?
I just went with one. I think what I don't remember this exactly, but what I probably heard from Andrea was to lower the pitch a little bit. So it was a little bit deeper in my register. Batman, meet me at the Watchtower. So it was a little bit deeper, but in many scenes when I'm just talking, it was somewhat my speaking voice. I mean, it's not like you're hearing me today and you're like, wow, I don't even hear Wonder Woman. I mean, you can hear it there, but maybe there's a little bit more polish because of the princess quality, a little bit more formality, and then the deeper register for the warrior piece. But no, I didn't go in with like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have all these different, if they had told me, if they had directed me that way, then certainly I would have had to do it on the fly. Yikes. But I didn't have to. I luckily enough, they found something in this voice, my speaking voice, that they could mold into what they wanted.
Cool. And one more, if you don't mind.
Of course, that's what I'm here for.
Do you remember maybe the situation or a moment when you said to yourself, yes, this is the voice I'm going with? Or is it like you were actually working, or you were walking in the park, or do you remember how that happened?
I think it evolved, you know, and I think it's not just the voice. I think that I think it's the confidence, you know, that you develop over time. You know, when I first started, it was very intimidating walking into that room with all these big, you know, heavy hitters, especially somebody like Kevin, who had already done Batman the Animated Series, and Andrea and Bruce Timm. You know, you knew the legend before you walked into the room. So I think the voice was found over time. And I think, truthfully, I think that it was found as I built my confidence playing the character and feeling like, you know, I was connecting to her. Eventually that happened, especially when I had scenes with Hippolyta early on, because the mother-daughter stuff really grounded me. I'm a daughter, you know, and I responded to those scenes so greatly. So I think those helped a lot, rather than the tough superhero scenes. I think the more human scenes helped me find that voice.
Excellent.
And my comfort level.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions in the floor? Haven't gone all shy now because this is a shy con. No open bar at this con, you know. Otherwise, you know, that's the Irish. Unless there's a pint in our hands, we're not so chatty.
What about your friend?
Go on, Anto. Go on. Go on, say hi at least.
He doesn't even need
Yeah, he's going to do it. Go on, Anto. Oh, here he is. Get ready.
Okay.
Sorry, Sue. Sorry, you put me on the spot here. Hello. I think you kind of answered a few of the questions there already. Just and to me, I think you are the definitive Wonder Woman there. Now, in all fairness, even listening to your voice, but I was actually going to say, I think you kind of brushed on it there. Like, you know, in the TV show Wonder Woman, she basically was the boss to me. I knew she commanded the whole team. You know, it wasn't Batman. I think she kind of stepped in and put them in line. I was just wondering, in real life, did you have that kind of atmosphere in the room? Did you take over all, you know, would you tell the guys what to do, you know, put them in their place, or was there a bit of back and forth with a drama there, you know?
You know, I think I was like I just referenced in the last question, I was too nervous in the beginning, you know, to take charge of anything. I had never, I had been on animated shows before, but never as a series regular, never as one of the stars of the show. And so it took me a really long time not, you know, to stop pinching myself every time I walked into that room and saw all these people that were extraordinary.
A lot of personalities, yeah.
Oh my, and Michael Rosenbaum, you try getting a word in edgewise when he's in the room. I mean, he was Flash, you know, he was Flash, and Carl was, you know, quiet off to the side like Jean, and Phil was, you know, studying comics on the floor with an open comic book, you know, that was his passion. So no, I was not too bossy.
Sorry.
But you know, it's a little hard to feel bossy when Andrea Romano and Bruce Timm are right there. You know, you're just more like this, you know, like, okay, tell me what to do and I'll do it. I think as I got more confident, maybe a little bit, you'd have to ask my fellow Justice Leaguers what they experienced.
Get them all over. We'll do a cross reference on that. We get them all over. Bring them all over here to us too.
Oh, I think that would be a dream for all of us, truly.
Okay, I'll put you back to Owen because he put me on the spot there. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Let the record show that if no one finds me again after this, Anto was responsible, okay? Just before we start, I think we have to stop bringing things to a close. We've gone over the half hour mark, but just before, I just want to move on to like some of your other projects as well, like Masters of the Universe Revelation, and announcing season 2. So I don't know if you can say, maybe you can't say anything if you'll be back or anything. Is that no, don't no.
You know what? I haven't been told one way or the other, so
Okay.
I think I'll err on the safe side and say, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Exactly.
I think that's the safest answer. But that, it's funny because I think Kevin, I met Kevin in a green room at a convention, and he was there, and everyone was, just swarming around him, and I just thought, oh, should I introduce myself? Should I say hello? And I did eventually, and I said my name, told him who I was, and he's like, hello, you're Wonder Woman. I've seen every episode of the Justice League. I know who you are. And then shortly after that, I got a call, to be in the show. So I'm not sure if my bravery had anything to do with that, or my brazenness had anything to do with it. But it was a lovely connection because he was so familiar with the show. So that that's always a plus when the director knows your work.
No, he does seem to be very sincere, that if he's a fan of something, he seems to really connect, and he's like us. I'm a fan, and it's a privilege then to work with, the people who's familiar with. So yeah, absolutely. It's
he's wonderful. He's wonderful. He's such a, of course, everyone says this one's wonderful, that one's wonderful. But he's like your biggest cheerleader. And I'm always nervous, always. It always gives me butterflies when I go to a session for the, and he's just there, looking at you, supporting you. He's got your back, and he tries to put you at ease. And, he's such a loyal guy. If he's in your corner, and you feel it. And it's been a joy working with him and playing that character. That was such a gift, playing the sorceress. I loved it. Loved every word of it.
Yeah, I was like, I knew He-Man the periphery in the show, but I think it was more, I have an older brother. I think He-Man was more for him than it was for me. But then when the show came out, like, it had me hooked, because it was like to take a concept and add to the mythology. And my brother has a son who's turning 4 in April, and it's interesting because with a show, that's the gift to it was, again, going back to Justice League, it didn't talk down, so it's something that like father and son can watch, parents and children. That's always wonderful. And I think animation's kind of common ground, so you have like other shows like Simpsons and such as well, that's like generational, and that's it's we sometimes forget about the simple pleasure of, as a family or as a friend, of sitting down and enjoying the show. And
well, and as a parent, you want to be able to not get bored out of your head, by the kids show, right? So the fact that the parents can enjoy it, the kids can enjoy it, that it speaks to both the generations. That's the writers, doing what they do. Yeah.
Awesome. But listen, again, it's the writers bring the stories, but again, also the animators visualize, but the actors also, they give soul to it all as well, and that's, again, you and your colleagues, definitely it resonates with us. I think it's a mosaic, many parts for the same complete picture. So I just, final call now, okay, to make sure no one coming up to me upset after this. Anto, please please, it's okay. But listen, thanks so much, everyone, for coming along today and for asking such great questions, and thank you, Susan, as well, for coming along, participating in this. We really do appreciate it, and all I can say is we really look forward to hopefully seeing you over here in person in a future show. So thank you.
My pleasure. It made me giddy when you reached out, because Dublin Comic Con, it's on my bucket list. So definitely. it made me very happy. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Toxin? My thanks again to Susan for today's conversation, and thank you, the listener, for tuning in. If this is your first time visiting Creator in Conversation, you can now listen to season 1 of 52 episodes plus a bonus episode available now on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, basically wherever you get your podcasts. If there's a platform that you listen to your podcasts on and you can't find us, let us know and we'd be happy to reach out and get ourselves onto that particular platform. If you are a creator yourself and would like to feature on a podcast, or you have feedback, comments, queries pertaining to anything that's been covered in the podcast, feel free to reach out to us at info@tasqart.com. That's TASQART.com. TASQart stands for Tala Academy Sequential Art. It's Ireland's premier academy dedicated towards comic book design and production. We also delve into the adjacent fields of film, animation, games, basically wherever the applicable skills within comics also find themselves, the transferable skills as they were. We are currently producing season 2 of Creator in Conversation, and we'll be back in the near future with some amazing guests which we are currently lining up and recording. I'm very excited to present to you the upcoming conversations we have featured. And until next time, this has been a copyright production of Macaulay Consultancy 2026.